Welcome to week 1 of Rewire, a series I've created where I focus on actively rewiring the thoughts in my brain to be more wholesome, to be more positive, and in doing so, changing my attitudes, changing my emotions, and remember this is all a big feedback loop. As I change my thoughts, as I change my thinking, I'm changing my attitude. As I change my attitude, I change how I feel. So, how has the first week gone? Actually, really good. I feel like everything I've been working on and doing is coming together, whether that be daily yoga in the morning, helping me be more energized, the meditation I do afterwards or through the day, focusing on fitness and health, taking my supplements, and as well as that, the last kind of piece of the puzzle, which I've neglected for so long, which is that start focusing on my thinking. And that's what I'm going to start talking about today, which is how when you change your thinking, you plug the hole that drains you. Negative thinking takes up a lot of your energy. In order to retain your ego, a lot of energy is consumed from the body. You aren't light and free, moving around nimbly, relaxed, but instead in an agitated state, or confused state, or fearful state, and you might not be aware that you are in these states. But these lower emotion states suck your energy. If we look at it energetically, it would be that root chakra and that solar plexus chakra. If you've suffered from chronic fatigue, it's often attributed to blockages in that root and that solar. After all, the root is that survival center. It is what makes you feel safe, secure. If you don't feel safe and secure, if you feel confused and fearful all the time, your energy is going to be leaked out and you won't have that energy to go about your day. And that is why it's so powerful to start thinking the right thoughts. For me, I've noticed an improvement in energy, and as I've mentioned, doing the yoga, doing the meditation, spending time in the sun every day to boost ATP has all come together, making me feel more energized, more relaxed, and slightly less agitated. I still notice some agitation or some desire that I have to do something, be productive, things like that, but it's moving in the right direction. And the core thing I've noticed is a switching of thoughts to have a feeling behind them with a I can do it attitude. An attitude that is focused on empowerment, vision, drive, feeling good in oneself, and without the doubt that was there before. As well as this, I used to not think very clearly all the time. And recently I've learned that this is because when you are in a state of fear or confusion, it blocks you off from thinking clearly. After all, you don't even want to notice or witness the complete thought, right? Because there's some fear behind it. You want to hide, you want to run away. So being able to see that and see it clearly is really about allowing yourself to notice the thought or notice as clearly as possible, identify what is it, what is the component of this thing that is arising that has a fearful intention behind it. Because more often than not, it's an illusion, but our minds push us into an avoidance pattern. Now, if we stop avoiding and we start to see everything clearly, a lot of the confusion that was there before starts to go away. You can even start to identify that confusion is just a layer on top of this avoidance, this layer of fabricated, hey, don't look here. And so by just looking there, you can start to see that confusion is like a bubble. It's like a bubble of soap. It looks really solid, but what happens when you put your finger in a bubble, right? It pops. And that's the same thing we want to do with these thoughts. We want to see them as true to the essence of what they are until they do pop, until you do realize they are fabricated, until you realize that because they're fabricated, because they are just a thought, you can change your thoughts, you can change your thinking to aid you. And as I talked about last time, in the Eightfold Noble Path of Buddhism, one of the paths, one of the pillars is right thinking or right intention. So to have that right intention, to have that right thinking is really powerful in aiding you along your journey. So right thinking, right intention, right feeling all feed off on each other. If you are finding it difficult to think the right thoughts, or you are doing it and it's not as effective as you would like, I would say firstly keep doing it and see what happens. But secondly, if you are in a really big state of apathy, sometimes to move out of that apathy, we also need to focus on moving our body, doing things to facilitate that energy movement, that release of tension somatically in the body, rooted in that fear. And so these are all processes that feed off on each other. As you do them, your thoughts improve. And that's what I've really noticed, is there's more of a can-do attitude behind my thinking. It feels better, it feels more free, it feels more liberated. So my YouTube channel is still relatively small. Some of my videos get 20 views, 10 views, 50, occasionally 100 plus. Now, in the past, when I've spent a lot of time on a video and it hasn't got that many views, I might be slightly frustrated or annoyed, to be honest. I might spend many hours editing a video together and it might only get 20, 30 views, maybe. There might be something in your life that you want to happen, you want some outcome, and you put effort in and you don't reach there. But what we often don't see is the truth behind that effort and the truth behind that outcome. As an example, 30 views, right? Let's look at the watch time. Could be an hour. Let's say the video is 6 minutes long. Well, that means that 10 people went out of their day to watch the entire 6 minutes. Imagine putting 10 people in the room. It doesn't sound like a lot when you look at the views in terms of this big YouTube thing. But when you think about it like putting 10 people in a room with you, well, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that spend their time watching your video. Recently, I made a video where I interviewed a monk. And to my surprise, it's really blown up. It's gone to almost 200 views already. And last I checked, it was on 8 hours of watch time. Now, 8 hours means that 80 people would have watched it. Well, not 80, but about 40 people. 40 people would have watched it, right? Because it's a 10-minute video. So about 40 people or more would have watched the entire video. It's only got 200 views in the big scheme of YouTube. Not that crazy. But think about bringing 40 people in a room with you and being able to impact their lives, being able to humor them or give them an enjoyable experience where they watch your video. The fact that 40 people have taken their time out to view it is kind of crazy. It's kind of amazing to think about. It's kind of mind-blowing. But when we focus on the lack, when we focus on, I wish it was more, only 200 views, everyone else is getting thousands of views on YouTube. Everyone else is succeeding in some depiction of what I think success is. Well, what do? We suffer. We don't feel good. And so to not have a strong expectation on something means the freedom of purely enjoying the fruits of whatever comes. To truly enjoy the fruits of the harvest rather than cutting yourself down continuously because it doesn't meet that expectation. And often we don't even set that expectation. It's just never enough. It's just, we should be the best, whatever the best is, which we can never meet. So either set yourself an expectation and try to reach there realistically, or don't have that expectation at all and just do your best and have the right thinking and attitude and enjoy the fruits of the harvest, however they might arise. So I wanted to leave on that. Today, or this week, I recommend focusing on that. Allow the fruits of the harvest to arise as they do, and see what you are doing as realistically as possible. See it as the core components of it. Break it down in your mind. Don't just see it as this idea of thought, but break it down into all its little components, and you can start to see in a more realistic fashion, and a fashion that is now more empowered to see the truth of what really is. So that's my thoughts, guys. If you had any questions, if you had any thoughts, let me know down below and share how your week went. I'm really curious. Catch you later.